Spoiler warning and disclaimer, I did not originally intend to make a YouTube video on this game when I started it, so I did not record actual footage, so a majority of this footage will be stuff I decided to record after I found out I was doing this, so you will probably see some things you don't want to see. So if you haven't played this game, click off the video, or don't. I don't care. You've been warned. So I'm around 20-ish hours into Final Fantasy XVI, and man do I have mixed feelings on this game. So Final Fantasy XVI is the next mainline game in the ever-popular Final Fantasy series. For those who don't know, Final Fantasy is an RPG series that first came out in 1987, and they've got like a bajillion games now. We got 16 mainline games and about every spin-off of 7 you can ask for, plus like 2 movies. The Final Fantasy games are super popular for their deep storytelling and fun combat mechanics. Now, I'm going to be honest, I haven't played every single Final Fantasy game, but I have played enough to understand what makes these games so special to people. And this game really took a leap of faith when it comes to changing things up, but did they go too far? Final Fantasy XVI's gameplay is what you've come to expect from Square Enix, innovative and fun. One of the new features of this game is the active lore system. How this works is basically during any point you can hold down the touchpad and it'll just bring up a bunch of lore on the different characters and areas you've recently learned about. This is super helpful in remembering who people are if you haven't seen them in a bit, or for giving you a better understanding of the different fractions and stuff. If you're a lorehead, you are going to love this feature. Another great feature to this game is the hunt board. It's basically a monster hunter in Final Fantasy. Each monster will have a difficulty rating and it gives you a general area of where you can find it. I've been playing through this game with a friend of mine on Party Chat and we've had a blast looking for these different monsters in the overworld, and I even came across one on accident at one point just trying to complete a side quest. Speaking of side quests, I'm just gonna be blunt. Yeah, they kinda suck. Honestly, the only reason I did them was for the renown and to get away from the obnoxious amount of story cutscenes, but each of these side quests just led to more cutscenes. So yeah. I do want to talk about the soundtrack in this game for a second because it is so good. All of the tracks in this game are good. I have not found one that I do not like. In fact, so many of these are so good that I spend all my in-game currency buying them for this jukebox, which is another really cool feature. You can go around basically all of the shops, they'll have these music discs and you can go back to the hub and you can play them, but they are stupid expensive. I mean, 40, 50, 60k just for one of these soundtracks, so be cautious if you're trying to collect them all. You are gonna need a lot of money. Switching over to an action-based combat system instead of the traditional turn-based combat is something a lot of fans have been torn about when it comes to the mainline Final Fantasy games. This took a lot of inspiration from Remake and its action-based combat system, and I gotta say, they did great. The combat in this game is a blast and arguably the best part of the game. It's very flashy and quick, and it gives you a lot of options to change things up. Another big change for this game is the fact that Clive is the only playable character in this game, aside the icons. And this was pretty disappointing for me at first, but the amount of abilities you get make up for it. Somewhat. When you first start, you're only given a small set of skills, but as you progress, you'll be given more and more powers, which open up the doors to even more styles of gameplay. You're only given 2 skill slots for each icon, so you really have to pick and choose what suits you best. You can go full aggressive mode and only play skills that have a high damage output but really poor range. Or you can use skills that have a very low cooldown, so you can essentially spam skills, but in return, you'll be sacrificing damage. I really love the options this game gives you when it comes to choosing your skills. You can even move skills between icons if you level them up enough. So if you prefer Ifrit's skills, then you can replace all of Garuda's with his. And can I just say, I love that you can essentially reset your entire skill tree at any time free of charge. This lets you redo your entire build if you want pretty much anywhere in the game, which has to be one of the coolest additions to this franchise, unless another game had it and I don't know, don't hate me, please. So yeah, if you're like having a hard time with the boss, you can basically go back and rearrange all your skills and try again, which is super cool. As a whole, I genuinely do really enjoy this combat. I just found it a bit too easy, only dying around twice so far. It's kind of been a mockery between my friend and I. We just don't die. This game is too easy. It basically, you can get all these accessories that basically auto dodge for you, auto attack for you, and all these other things. So if you want any challenge, you're gonna have to remove them. But even without them, the game is just too easy. Even the monster hunt boards, they're not hard. I don't die. Send help. Now we're to the reason I'm even making this video. The entire reason I'm making this was kind of as a joke, and now I'm actually doing it, and that's why it's awful. But I'm not even sure where to start here. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but these are my opinions, okay? I said calmly. Now, as I've said, I'm around 20 hours into the game, so I have not beaten it yet. Don't spoil. So who knows, maybe it'll become my new favorite movie of all time by the time I complete it. So this story started off amazing. The first few hours of this game are jaw-dropping. Clive is an awesome character with some great depth. I remember getting off for the night thinking to myself, that was the best opening to any game I've ever played. But that changed really quickly. The second time I got on to play, I found myself looking at my phone a majority of the time because I couldn't take 5 steps without initiating another cutscene. At one point, I checked my chapter progress and it was at 0%. I just started a new chapter, and after 2 obnoxiously long political cutscenes, my chapter was now 66% complete. And the story itself isn't that bad at all. In fact, it's the reason so many people loved this game. But it felt so bloated, so many cutscenes that you barely get any gameplay. In fact, when writing the script for this video, I was scrolling on YouTube and found this video. It's every cutscene from Final Fantasy XVI in one video, and it is 20 hours long. And this is a 30+ hour long campaign. That's 2/3 of your playthrough being cutscenes. Like I said, the story is good. I think Clive is a really great character and freaking OP lore-wise, but there's just too much of it. And on top of the active time lore, you could just play this game for 4 hours and not even fight. And some people really love that, and that's okay. Just not my cup of tea. So I'm gonna be honest, I didn't write an outro for this. I have no idea where to end a YouTube video. I don't know what I'm doing. I made this as a joke and here I am, okay? But as a whole, Final Fantasy XVI, the only reason I'm even getting through it right now is because I'm playing through it with my friend. If it weren't for him, I would have never touched this game after like the 3rd time sitting down to play it, which really sucks because it started off great and then just became the world's longest movie of all time, which is super disappointing. We're going to continue to play it. We're going to beat it. Who knows, maybe when we beat the game it'll be great and the cutscenes stop, but probably not because we're 20 hours into the game, so we at least got 10 hours of cutscenes left. So I don't know. If you like the game, I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry, but I guess you like movies. I guess you like playing your movies. Sorry.